Echo Foxtrot, Quebec here. Just left the shore. The next 5 days I'm going to float around in this boat, setting up stations at different parts of this set of lakes. Hopefully get lots of contacts. For now I need to make it to the stream that I'm going to use to jump into a larger lake. I have no doubt I'll get lots of good voice contacts, but ideally this time I can get some digital contacts. So there's 5 days of food in the hull, as well as a complete radio station, solar panels, lithium iron phosphate batteries, pretty much an indefinite amount of electricity to run the radio, antennas, an antenna pole, plus several shelters, a bug net. So I have choices depending on the weather or the campsite. And the kayak will still putt along at a nice 5 to 6.5 kilometers an hour with not much effort. Time for a portage. About 6 o'clock, so hopefully there'll be no more portages. So this is called Smoky Creek. And just back there is a tiny beaver dam, which was easy to haul the kayak over. I have about 2 kilometers to go on this creek before I get to the open water and the big lake. Always lots of beaver dams in Canada. Should be able to haul it up on the right. It was taking about 4 hours to come up the creek, many beaver dams and 2 portages, and now I need to find a camp so I can get some rest and in the morning maybe move deeper into the woods, find a good place to set up the radio and see if I can get some contacts. So the march up the creek has traumatized my shoe to the point where I'm going to have to break out the super strong thread, see if I can shore it up before I head out this morning. Very beautiful here, but obviously tough on the footwear. So my portable cobbler station includes some extra strong thread. This one is upholstery thread, but it's extremely strong and I can't break it by hand. It just cuts into my skin. So it's good to have in the emergency kit. If something breaks in the field, this will likely make it stronger than when it was originally manufactured. Well, it's not the prettiest repair, but I'm hoping it will suffice for the next couple days. The kayak's loaded up. I'm going to move maybe 5 or 6 kilometers at least to the end of the next big lake and set up a station, maybe have contact around 1 o'clock, I suspect. I'm about to move from one lake to the other. Here's the passage. And it looks like on this little stream, no need for a portage. So let's go through there. So a few minutes of paddling is better than an hour of portaging. This is finally the lake that I'm going to spend the next few days at. I won't portage out of this lake. I'll return through here in about 4 days. We've been moving for many hours and many kilometers. Come to the far edge of this finger of this lake. Came across a nice camp. I think I'm going to stay here. Got a good view. Suspend the antenna from this tree, dipole down this line, and that line. Should be able to get some contacts over the next few days from here. Started to set up a camp for the second night. Given that it's summer here, at about 7 o'clock, the number of mosquitoes will approach infinity, I'm sure, and it'd be very difficult to sit outside and be comfortable. So when it's not raining, the second priority after keeping dry is staying out of the bugs. So it's about 15 minutes to 10. Still a bit of light out, but it's now the bugging hour, and certainly don't want to be outside trying to do any tasks. Let's turn the light out and see if we can hear the sound. Thank God for bug nets. The kayaks holds. It's easier to pack many small bags than one big one. So the antenna system has been split into 2 sacks that form long cylinders, and one can be pushed to the tip of the bow hold, and the other, once it's rolled, can be pushed to the tip of the stern hold and balance out the weight, but also maximize the space inside the hold by getting the bags to conform to the shape of the hull. I'm going to put the antenna up now and see if I can get a contact somewhere. The dipole is hanging up nice and high, running all the way over to there. We got 20, 40, and 80, some traps for the 20 and 40 meter sections. And let's see if we can get a contact. Might as well eat the heavy food first, especially if it's fresh. I did recently buy a dehydrator, and I've dehydrated a whole bunch of food for this trip. So we'll get to see some of that in action. Definitely cut down my weight per day. I was on the 80 meter net for this area, and the fellow 150 or 200k northwest was saying that it was raining where he was. I suspect I'm getting some of that rain. So the rain had stopped, and I broke out the radio supplies and set up the Raspberry Pi, and now we're sending out some signals on JS8 while I sit here in the hammock controlling the radio via the VNC client. And many stations are hearing me, and then I'm attempting to relay a message to my friend VA3 Oscar Sierra Oscar.
I'm going to send a message to all call any station, and I'm going to send them my Maidenhead locator, which is 8 characters long, meaning it's quite accurate. And then hopefully one of the stations that is hearing me will post my position, and we'll be able to people will be able to see where I am. It's transmitting now, and then when I get back I can take a look at the APRS site and see if it's plotting my position correctly.
On the left are screenshots of the APRS position reports sent by JS8 running on the Raspberry Pi in the camp. On the right is my position as measured by my handheld GPS. As you can see, they are practically equal. This shows that JS8 can be used to effectively plot my camp's position should someone need to find me.
So coffee time, check in on the local 80-meter net. The signal I'm receiving is very clear.
Hello, CQ. This is Victor X-ray 2 Alpha 11, Victor X-ray 2 Alpha 11, the expedition to North America 038. Yours.
Victor Echo 3 Echo Foxtrot Quebec.
Victor Echo 3 Echo Fox Quebec, copy 5 and 9.
Roger, I copy 5 and 9 from Victor X-ray 2 Alpha 11 in 038. You have a 5-9. I'm portable stationed in the forest in southern Ontario, over.
Roger that, my friend. I know that QRZ.com is down. Please look us up on Facebook, 73.
Roger, I'll check it out when I get back from the woods in 4 or 5 days. Good luck, over.
Okay, 73. QRZ, Victor X-ray 2 Alpha 11. Alpha 1, Sierra Tango uniform for the Navy Amateur Radio Club that we're taking check-ins. All are welcome.
Victor Echo 3 Echo Foxtrot Quebec.
Oh, there's a voice way down in there. Anybody hear that?
Victor Echo 3 Echo Foxtrot Quebec, over.
Okay, up in Ontario, Roger. We'll mark him as worked, number 49 in the log, okay?
Roger, I copy 4-9.
Thanks for checking in. We're here every day from 7 to 9. This is Whiskey Alpha 1, Sierra Tango uniform for the Navy Amateur Radio Club that we're taking check-ins. All are welcome.
Time for breakfast. So we'll set the panels out. They're not going to charge very much until the sun comes around over here. At the end of the day, this rock here gets full sun. Alright, so this is a nice fish. Definitely a good size. There we go, buddy. And then we'll let you free. Tried to catch a pike, but no luck. I'm trying to contact the scouts. They have a camp in West Virginia, but they only had a 3x3, so maybe another half an hour they'll be able to hear me. In the meantime, I bought a food dehydrator and pureed and dried some bananas. I'm going to bake up some banana bread here. First I must rehydrate the bananas. Mix the flour and bake it in the fire.
This is NA1WJ, QRZ.
So there's flour and sugar and raisins, and the yellow stuff on the top, those are powdered eggs. So the batter is slowly coming along. Add a bit more water. The solar panels are sitting in the sun, and we're definitely getting power says we're spitting out about half an amp. We've taken in about half an amp hour since I put the panels here. So that's a 3 amp hour battery. We'll see how many amp hours we can get between now and say 6 o'clock. We're going to put the batter into this special baking pan for the woods. Put the lid on. We'll start a little fire on top of the lid to bake, and we're going to use this alcohol stove on the bottom with the flame turned down pretty low to give heat from the bottom. And after about 15 minutes of this, banana bread. Got the fire running on the top. About 15 minutes, we should have baked banana bread. Well, it looks to me like it's puffed up and got a bit too hot along the side. Now, it seems like she's pretty scored on the bottom. Completely black. So there was too much heat on the bottom, but the dough itself, the part that did work, tastes pretty good. So, taking in how many? 1.09 amp hours. So it's after dinner. We're going to see if we have any mail from the JS8 crowd. I was trying to send a message to my friend. I've started up the phone. You can see it says Raspberry Pi. So the phone becomes a hotspot, and the Raspberry Pi automatically connects to the phone. Then I can control it via the BNC. So JS8 and the other digital modes require that the time be synchronized. So we're going to use this time clock, which is broadcasting continuously, to manually update the time.
28 minutes. Coordinated Universal Time.
And so we issue the command. So if the timing is successful, we should be able to decode these. You can see Kilo Charlie 4 Z Golf Papa. We've decoded his packet. So I'm going to transmit a heartbeat, and we'll see if we get any replies. Transmitting. Power heading out. Yeah, so we've got an acknowledgement. I lived in South Korea for a while, and I would always camp there, and I could pick up the North Koreans on my shortwave radio. It's always a treat to be in Canada and still be able to go camping and hear the North Koreans. freeze-dried and dehydrated omelette. Looks like it came out delicious. Tonight is pizza night. I have some dehydrated mushrooms, green and red pepper. And then I made some pizza sauce and dehydrated the sauce to a powder. Then we have 3/4 of a cup of shredded but freeze-dried mozzarella cheese. Sounds disgusting, but it's actually quite delicious once it's baked. I've got some pizza dough with yeast and salt already prepared. Sealed pepperoni sticks to add some meat. So hopefully that will be delicious. Got a nice ball of dough. It's about 1 cup of flour. Make enough pizza for me. I'm going to stick it into this pot. Put the lid on the pot. And then we're going to find a place in the sun to keep it warm and let the yeast do its trick. So, I think this fellow here probably good for lunch. Got a couple of nice sized pieces.
So after I cut up the fish, I looked in its stomach to see what it likes to eat.
Now this is my bait, which is basically a worm, but this was in the fish's stomach. What I could do is use this very thing for bait or get some fake ones for my fishing kit. It must be a very hungry fish if he ate this and then wanted to eat this too. Time for lunch.
Still interesting things to hear on the shortwave. I wonder where this is coming from. Maybe I'll figure out what language it is soon enough.
The prophet sent by God to preach the coming of Jesus Christ to the whole world and to every nation. My name is Brother Stair.
I thought this guy was in jail.
The Overcomer.
The Overcomer.
Stein 1,
Maybe he overcame his legal troubles.
South Carolina.
So that's the pizza sauce is rehydrating, the toppings are rehydrating, and the cheese is rehydrating. It takes a bit of time, but it'll cook. And some pepperoni. It's a lot of sauce, okay, but I like a saucy pizza. Let's put some very spicy pepperoni. So the vegetables are on top. Now it's time for the cheese. And the cheese comes out when it's rehydrated in a big clump like this. But it melts really well once it's spread around on the pizza and cooked. I'm going to start a little fire on the top. So this is the 10-minute point. I've had better luck with pizza than with banana bread. We're approaching the 15-minute mark. Definitely time to take this off the fire and see what it's going to look like. Now, we don't want to kill the heat from the fire, just in case it's not done and I have to put it back on. But it looks like she's done to me. Should have rotated the pan or made the stove a bit more level. That is the crust done on the bottom. It's lifting off quite nice. Oh, nice. I'd share with someone, but I haven't seen anyone in 4 days. So, time to eat. A little bit stuck to the hot side of the pan. Should have leveled it out. But let's take a look. So the dough is neither burnt nor undercooked. It's kind of crispy on the bottom. Lots of nice little holes. Cheese looks like it melted quite nicely. Just hope I put enough seasoning in there. Yummy, yummy. Pizza night is definitely a success.
So it's the last day at this spot. I'm gonna pack up the camp. Takes about an hour. Put everything in the kayak and move up the lake. About half a day, 3/4 of a day. Try to catch a fish. Going to have the solar panels on the outside of the kayak to charge up the battery while we move. So the camp's all packed up, but there's a storm coming in. Anyway, we're going to measure how much power we produce during the course of the journey to the next camp. And the kayak's ready to go. Good thing everything's packed. It just started to rain. Maybe by the time it comes to set up, the rain will have stopped and I can keep everything dry. Very big bass. Wow. It's a big fish. Alright, okay. Back in the water. Swim away. It's raining a little bit. Some lightning. So the rain is not abated. It's intensified. Lots of thunder and wind. So the shelter is up. We're going to hang out here for the night. Dry things out in a little while. Maybe start the fire. Yeah, I'll probably not go and set the antenna up in this. Maybe if it stops raining. But for now, I'll just wait it out. The storm has passed, but I still hear thunder off in the distance. Anyway, it's time to prepare some dinner. It may be the case that I won't put the antenna up tonight. This is my homemade dehydrated chili. Just going to rehydrate it with this boiling water. How to tell if you've been in the woods a long time. Look at your hat. Since the last morning, gonna finish my coffee and pack up. One thing that I need to make note of is the digital modes use way too much power, given the amount of power that I can generate. I was able to produce
only 1/3 of my battery's capacity in it one sunny day. And I'm going to pack up and move out. I have maybe 6 hours of travel, maybe 7 to get back to the car, including a couple portages.
So the first portage is coming up. This is the end of my excursion. It's only been 6 days. Need to be able to generate more electricity if I'm going to use the digital modes. But otherwise, everything went okay. Caught more fish than I could possibly eat. I'll get another trip in soon.